Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Ubuntu channel. And we are proud to be back on Let's Talk Politics. Though we have mutated this program, and it incorporates events that happened during the week, and we get to talk about them, add some bit of politics to them, and then we also would love to hear your view. My name is Lawrence, and as always, I'm your host for this particular program. Now, I am not alone. I am obviously hosting Womkelavai, who has been the usual on this particular program. Womkelavai, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on the Ubuntu channel this evening.
Good evening, Rollins, and good evening, viewers, and thank you to be back again on this wonderful program.
Thank you so much. Would like to express our sincere apologies to our viewers for not being able to be on screen. As has been the case for quite some time now, it's due to ZESCO issues, and we are obviously in the dark and cannot be on the screen, so cannot be visible on the screen. But we just want to continue to have this program and interact with you and get to hear from you, and you also get to hear our views, and that's what this program is all about. And therefore, the program must go on despite these challenges that we are having. Womkelavai, this evening promises to be an interesting program, and as we get to review some of the issues that have trended during the week.
Yes, definitely. We would love to ponder on this and explain few things and debunk on other issues that were put forward by people out there. So I'm actually looking forward as well to do the same.
Okay, without wasting much of our time, let's get into it. Let me ask my producer to just give us a clip, and then we get to meet on the other side. Please stay in touch and stay glued to your screens, whatever social media platform you're watching us from. Please let us know. Invite someone if you can, so that they can join us and also get to participate.
You want to take a walk? It's going to find the No, you have the right to walk, but you can't walk around the court premises. No, he's not walking around the premises. Look, I went there. They told we know this is the listen, Your Excellency. Let's not be arguing. No, we're not arguing. We went there. Exit. Yes, this way. You can drive. You came driving. Why should you walk out? Yes, the vehicles are here. What is your problem? I have the right to know. He has an hour. Yes, for 1 hour. It's 1 hour. Yes, and he wants to go to Intercontinental here. Yeah, where is the problem? Why do you want to decide this mode of transport? Let him drive. He wants to walk. He can drive. He wants to take a walk. He can drive. Let him drive. So you want to make a road show? No, I'm not making a road show. He wants to take a walk. Okay, he has 1 hour. If you want to chat with us here, let's chat. But you're not going out. Unless if you're why? This is an exit. Why? Why are you deciding what transport you should use? Why? Who are you to decide that? It's not your show. No. No, it's good for the press. No, President, but no, let him drive. He kept driving. Why should he walk? He needed to take a walk. You're not exiting here if you want to walk.
Okay, thank you so much for that particular clip. And we see former Republican President Edgar Chagwa Lungu visibly very annoyed that he was he was denied the opportunity to move he was denied the opportunity to take a walk on foot from the High Court premises to the Intercontinental Hotel where he said he wanted to go, but police blocked him and asked him to leave exactly the same way that he came. Kelabai, what is your reaction to that?
Thank you so much, Lawrence. I just thought of breaking the protocol now to also come on camera. So because I don't have load shedding here with me, so I want to just be on camera. But the place where I am, it's not that very conducive. But I would continue anyway. My apologies for that. Well, coming to your question, whether the former president was right. What was your question again? Is it about the video on that?
Yeah, about the video. I was just asking for your reaction to this particular clip and what transpired there. What comes what comes to your mind just looking at it?
You see, Mr. Lungu, I'll use the word Mr. Lungu because he does not call the current president His Excellency, the president. He will always call him by his name and use Mr., even though he is a doctor, but I will also do the same. Mr. Lungu is a hurting person right now. And I find his reaction or his actions these days a little bit childish, and not coming from a senior person that held an office, a highest office of the land. His reaction on these matters or on political issues, I find it so questionable and questioning his behavior, whether he's in his right set of mind. I don't understand. And kudos to the people that were surrounded. There was a senior and very matured person that was next to him that I believe he listened to. That gentleman with a scarf in his neck, I really appreciated him because I saw the look on Mr. Lungu's face after that man said something. And you could see the disappointment on Emmanuel Mwamba. Emmanuel Mwamba's behavior that day was also very, very childish. He behaved like a spoiled kid, talking about things that are not. I know he may have tried to make a point, but the police officer, who I really want to appreciate and thank for standing the ground, he stood the ground and told the president, the former president, with all due respect, he recognized him on that manner and he told him, no, you can't go this way. And there were obvious reasons, and this was coming from a security personnel. The former president's movement needs to be dotted by the state or by the security setup. So the security people need to know how to protect that man. Why do you think he has security details over him every time he moves? It means that the former president needs to inform before, to make prior arrangements of his movements so that they plan and they protect him. It is the same protection that the current president is going to is receiving, and that is the also same little bit reduced, but he still is a state asset that needs to be protected at all cost. Hence, him being allowed to have police officers that are being paid by the state. He has security details that are being provided for by the state. even though the number was reduced, but it is a must being the ex-president. So he has that. But now, if his security officers are not answering to their superiors, then it becomes a problem that they want to choose their own ways of doing things just because they are close, they are within the proximity of the former head of state. I find his reaction that day was very childish and unprofessional and unpresidential. However, we need to allow. Yes.
Sorry to cut you short, but you say that the same protection that the current head of state receives is almost the same as what he receives. But to the best of my knowledge, the state actually withdrew security from his premises, withdrew his bonuses and allowances due to his continued participation in politics. So when you say he receives some of these entitlements,
Yes.
is it really the case?
Yes, it is still the case. You know, he has returned into active politics. And when you have returned into active politics, because now he is in the opposition, okay? He is in the opposition. However, he needs to get some kind of, because of his the former status or the status that he possesses. Because Edgar Changwalungu is not like Fred Membe. Edgar Changwalungu, the reason why he still gets even this popularity from the people is because he was once the head of state. He was once the commanding chief. This man knows a lot about the security details about the country. He has more information about, and if he's not treated well, definitely you will see it will be a cannon that is loose, that can just divulge information, even the private information that he's shown not to divulge. At the same time, there are so many people out there that he hates, that he actually, as a result of him being in power and did nothing, they suffered a lot of either injuries, damages, lost their properties, lost their families, lost their jobs, and they are not at all in a good mood to see this man walking freely on the street. There will be some that will hallelujah him, praising him, they love him, they want to be there. And some are not happy with what is currently going on in his current status. You know, most of his supporters, they are not happy with what is currently happening. He's just lost 15 properties through his wife. He just lost cars from his son. The gifts that he gifted all his children and his family, and even the maids, or rather the nieces and other things. So he's losing all this grip. Already, even the courts now is coming up to slap him with punishment or penalties for accusing the bench of malpractices, or rather being biased, when they don't even have any proper evidence on that. So there's a lot that is happening around him. And by him wanting to take a walk, just a walk, you see how he does when he walks into, yes, he's allowed to walk, but this is not an ordinary individual. This is an ex-president. When he walks, he will attract traffic, will attract a lot of people, you know, that would want to come and have a glance on him. If at all it's real, he is real. They want to see him. They want to shake his hands. He has fans. Remember, he had 1.8 million people that voted him, that voted for him. Remember that. And you think those people just vanished just because he's an ex-president? No. At the same time, he must also remember, let me finish this point. At the same time, he must also remember that he has people 2.8 million that did not vote for him for obvious reasons. So 1 million voters voted against him. That those are people, and those are majorities. And he thinks is safe by wanting to take a walk, because Intercontinental and the High Court there, or the Supreme Court there, it's not a 1 minute walk. The walk from there to there, it's almost 100, 200 meters. And within that, anything can happen within that. If the security are not detailed, are not warned advance, anything can happen. You saw the number of police officers that surrounded the court that day. Do you know why they were there? That was to provide security for both himself and the judges and the court, the lawyers, all those that came there that had cases. The reason why, they know that if anything happens there, the court decides either otherwise. There is jubilation, they win the case, or they lose the case. There will be people that will riot, or there will be people that will be not happy. There will be people that will be, and you know, when the majority, when the crowd is involved, you know what happens. So that reaction to me was so, the man should have just behaved like an honorable statesman, not the way he behaved like a Kaponya. And I just want to say thank you to that man with a scarf. I don't know who he is. If he's the presidential advisor, I think Mr. Lungu should learn to listen to that man. And it's high time Bolungu should have a spokesperson, not allowing Emmanuel Mwamba, because Emmanuel Mwamba is hurting. His boss lost power. And Emmanuel Mwamba, you know, that his behavior there that day, and I love the way the police officer came out, because I know what Emmanuel Mwamba wanted. And Emmanuel Mwamba, for him to even instruct or tell on social media, on the media, the cameras were on, telling them, meaning you should not listen to the police officers, listen to the former president, the very president that misled the people to receive salaries, the ministers to receive salaries. And these are the people that you want to, and he's a former president, he's the person that lost power from sitting in his own office. He lost that power, defeated by a landslide. And this is the person you want to rally behind and listen to. So to me, I found the Emmanuel Mwamba's reaction that day was very, very childish. And Emmanuel Mwamba should be ashamed of himself that he almost put the life of the former president in danger. Because if anything happened to that president, I promise you, the Zambian people were going to rise, including those that did not even support Edgar Chagwa Lungu, including us here. If anything happened to him that particular day, that the police allowed him to take a walk, and then something happens, hit by a drunkard, or he's hit by the car, or something happens there, is attacked, because anything is happened. He can be kidnapped, actually. Something can happen to him. If the MPs can be so-called purported to be kidnapped, what would stop people from kidnapping a person like Edgar Chagwa Lungu? They can do it. So how does the police come in? The police are there to help every individual, including former presidents. Even with or without security details, he needs to be protected. So with them, they politicized everything. No, you police officers. And I don't like when you are busy disrespecting men and women in uniform. That was so disrespectful, because those are the people that you go to. Whenever you want a favor, you want to visit a person who is a suspect in prison, you are there running to them, requesting. No, can you help us? We want to, and yet you abuse them. Do you think they won't catch feelings and react differently if at all they know that you always abuse them? They would do. They are human beings too. They can simply refuse because it's their prerogative as well. As a police officer, you can simply say, no, you're not allowed to drive this way. The moment you go against the police officer's directives, that you have abrogated the law. You failed to follow instructions from a lawful enforcement agent. Therefore, the officer has the right to act in whatever way.
Okay,
He is given that power.
probably. Let me just find out from you. Um, Obviously, those instructions were coming from the police using the Public Order Act, a law which seems to be talked about by those in opposition. Successive governments have spoken against it when in opposition, and when they actually form government, tend to change sides and begin to love this particular law. Now, if we look at the history of this specific law, Public Order Act, that is, more or less, it's a colonial law that a lot of countries have actually done away with. Go to South Africa with a younger democracy than ours, but theirs seems to have grown faster than the rate at which the Zambian democracy system is. And some of these things seem to function way better than they do here in Zambia. What really is the issue behind Public Order Act that a lot of governments fail to work on it, and those in opposition keep complaining about it?
Well, I think we used to complain. The previous oppositions, they used to complain about Public Order Act because of the manner in which it was abused, you know. But I don't think this time around it's been abused. If anything, this time around, you have seen for yourselves that political parties, opposition political parties, are able to hold rallies. Who did that? When
in the last year, since 2021 elections, you can actually count the number of rallies that have successfully been held by the opposition by one hand. And you can count the number of rallies that were denied by police by two hands. And that is the status. That is the reality on the ground.
Yes, and that's the prerogative that was given that is given to the law enforcers. You know, it's a prerogative of the police officers that are supposed to provide security during those rallies. And it is up to the police officers, when they sense that they don't have enough security, they can use that law. They can use that law. They are allowed to. Apparently, the current law still remains the same. It has not been repealed. The law is still there. The Public Order Act still applies until such a day when that law is done away with. That's when we can say this law cannot be applied today. Today it's been applied because it's enforceable. The law is still stands and we have not repealed it. So why should we talk about the law that is still active, that is still alive, that is still being enforced? It does not mean that when you complain about certain things, then the law is already gone, has been, done away with. No, the law is still there. Remember what happened to the law, the defamation of president law before it was repealed. Remember what happened. Most of these opposition, they are facing the criminal charges for defaming the president. When the likes of the Nakachinda. At that time, before the law was abolished, it was applicable, and they used the same law, even though the UPND government did not condone this law, but because an offense a crime was committed, and they could not just leave it like that just because the law is in question. The police have to work. And they did what they did until the law was repealed. Then that does not mean from the time now the law was repealed, then any cases that was committed before the law was repealed should be dropped because the law does not apply. No. The law still remained the same at the time of commissioning of the offense. So that will apply until the judgment and everything will be entered, or if he's prosecuted and the sentence will be done. But for new cases, for new crimes that will take place this time around after the repeal of that law, then it won't hold any water because the offense has been committed and is no longer applicable. Even those on death penalties, if you were sentenced to death before the death penalty was repealed or abolished, it does not mean now you are free from being killed or executed. You will still be executed because at the time when you committed a crime, that time the law was still inapplicable. So, but after the death penalty has been repealed or abolished, then any offenses that will take place after the pronouncement and enactment of that law, then it becomes illegal. The state cannot execute you because you are protected under the current law. You cannot reverse it to take it back to the previous cases, offenses that you committed. So in this case, the Public Order Act, I know it is not always favorable to the public, and especially the opposition, you know, but the government has to operate. Whether you like it or not, it has to move. And that does not mean that when you complain, then the law fades away. No, the law still remain the same. And not until the parliamentarian, that's why we tell our members of parliament, instead of politicking, be there and bring out these issues in parliament. Talk about the Public Act. Find ways of either repealing it, abolishing it. Come up with new bills that will replace the Public Order Act. Instead of, but what do you see? Propaganda, lies after lies, accusation of things that are baseless. We are still calling each other names. Meanwhile, we have a country to run and we have laws to abide by. That's why they are busy committing these criminal offenses when they know that it's against the law, but they go ahead and do it. And when they are arrested, they come to you and me and cry persecution. But at least today, when criminal offenses are committed, when these politicians, for example, they commit, especially the opposition, they know, they really know. It's not that they don't know. When Edgar Changwa Lungu, these are lawyers. You know, these are learned people. They know very well. And actually, of all people, these are people who have actually had tested the power. They've been in government before and they know what the law says, but they go ahead and push this current government to the edge anyways, so that once they are pushed and they are thrown in police custody, then they come and invoke the crybaby, you know, issues. No, we are being persecuted. They play this card, the tribal card. They plan these things. They do plan these things. It's not that they don't know that by saying certain things they are not committing any crime. They know. They do it with malice. They commit these criminal offenses with malice aforethought. Intentionally.
Let me just hold you a little bit. Let me ask our producer to give us the next clip so that we can continue this conversation on the other side. Remember, we are on Ubuntu channel, and this is Let's Talk Politics on Ubuntu, the program that has moved from Tuesday to Saturday to accommodate more of your views as viewers and listeners, and also to bring you a wider range of topics as it was compared to the way it was on Tuesdays. This is the Saturday edition of Let's Talk Politics. See you on the other side. Meanwhile, let's get to see the next story that we can look at that happened during the week, and then we get to meet on the other side.
I hope it will have a volume this time.
What law will you break by just allowing me to go and see him? You could like
Calling him actually is to bring him food. That is the lunch hour stop. That kind of.
So if we came at 12:30, that would be fine. We'll be able to see
Get
him.
something for him.
No, let's come at 12:30.
That'd be the best.
No, listen, he's a human being. I live far, and I'm appealing to human
This is the
nature.
challenge we have size. We have different characters. Don't just open them. So once it's time for feeding, we mobilize enough officers to guard the equality. So we can open it. That's how we do it. But right now they're under the
Just have to understand them. They are securing their jobs.
Welcome. Thank you so much, David. Welcome back. Now, the same group of people basically this time around at Lusaka Central Police, where the former head of state went to pay a visit to the detained Patriotic Front Secretary General Honorable Raphael Nakachinda. Yeah, and this time around, the head of state is being denied access to his Secretary General, and again, police advising the former head of state on how to conduct himself. Again, police seem to be standing in the way of the plans of the former head of state. And this time around, he carries with him the former first lady, that is Madam Esther Lungu. Now, same issues here happening this time around, just different scenario. Now, I don't want to ask you what your reaction is. Obviously, this should give you the same impression and the same reaction. But I just want to know, is the former head of state handling himself in a dignified and respectable manner when he...
Well, thank you so much. Are you there, Emmanuel? I mean, Lawrence.
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's the question. Is he handling himself in a dignifying manner? Really, when you look at that, his behavior recently, is that dignified? You can tell that this man is up to no good, is after something, you know. Me, I expected as a former head of state, you know, he does not even need to argue with junior officers by the gate. Okay? He has to make prior arrangements with the senior police personnel. If I was him, I would call. He has the numbers of either the inspector general or even other commissioners on every. This is the man who was the commander in chief, the former commander in chief, who is salutable. So, do you mean to tell me that if he was to pick up his phone, call the officer in charge of that particular police station, or call the higher commission of the provincial commissioner, or the IG himself, the inspector general, do you honestly think if arrangements are made, prior arrangements have been made, do you honestly think the junior police officers will be able to block the president in such a manner? I don't think so, because the junior officers work on instructions coming from their superiors. So if their superiors are not aware, because Wolungu, he just stands up from his home without any prior arrangement. He does not even call. He doesn't have that audacity to pick up the phone and call the officer in charge of that station, or the provincial commissioner of Lusaka, or the inspector general himself, to ask or request for a visit of a person of interest, that he wants to go to that place to visit his colleague, because he knew that Raphael Nagachinda is at this police station. So Edgar Changalungu ought to have acted himself as a statesman, as a former head of state, by engaging superiors, the superiors of the police station. That way, it would have helped, it would have made more sense. But instead, he goes unannounced, and he reaches the police station without the officers knowing that the former head of state is on his way coming. And when he reaches the police station, then there is a problem. The junior officers, they are waiting for further instructions. How do we handle a situation of the former head of state? How do we fix him? How do we invite him in? Because Edgar Changalungu moves with the entourage. How does the police accommodate his entourage as well, or his supporters? Because he does not move alone. So that itself is a problem to the officers. Hence the officers' reactions to refuse him entry. They are within their rights as police officers to say, no, sir, wait, we need to consult. That's my position. Hello, Emmanuel, are you there? You can play another clip so we can talk about it as well.
Investment that is due here. And to be part of this groundbreaking ceremony is breathtaking because Zambia is definitely making progress. Please continue with the investment. And Mr. President, I wish to thank you for everything that you're doing for this country. We're making progress. And when it comes to matters of development, we all have to unite because this is unity of purpose at work. I thank
you. I believe this is the clip about. I'm afraid Rollins has actually been kicked off, but I can continue. I believe this clip is about. Been kicked off, but I can continue. I believe this. It's about the MPs that followed the president, or the opening of those mines, where, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know, I stand to be corrected, but like I say, they are the MPs that followed the head of state. I don't know, is it okay if you can play that video, that audio again, that video again?
investment that is due here. And to be part of this groundbreaking ceremony is breathtaking because Zambia is definitely making progress. Please continue with the investment. And Mr. President, I wish to thank you for everything that you're doing for this country. We're making progress. And when it comes to matters of development, we all have to unite because this is unity of purpose at work. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I mean, the IT people. You can tell already that time for politics or for politicking is not, it's not now. Politics has its own time, but this time around we need unity. We need to come together and focus on developmental issues. And that's where we need to see our MPs, members of parliament, whether you are from PF or you are from the other political parties. This is the time where you need to come together and do the right thing for the people, because it is going to help us, the nation. You know, it is helping the people, and the people that are going to benefit are both the people of your political party and the people of the other political parties, together with those in government, the political party that is in government. So when it comes to development, development knows no boundary. Development, it means it has to be applied to everyone. Development has to benefit everyone, whether you are for, you are pro, you are against. You need to be a beneficiary and enjoy the dividends of what the government is doing, because the government has a mandate. They are obligated to deliver developments in each constituency, whether that constituency has the MP from the opposition or not. Development knows no boundary, knows no political affiliation. So in this aspect, I really applaud the members of parliament that took part in witnessing the groundbreaking of the by the head of state of that developmental project that is yet to come in that area. So we need to have MPs that will go a mile away from politics, because when you are affiliated to a political party and you support the government of the day, that does not mean you are a non, or you are betraying your political party. That's a political, that is so childish and very immature politics that we are trying to perpetrate in our country today. Like we saw from the previous regime, where certain areas were perceived. Oh yeah, you are back. Thank you.
We seem to have a scenario where some opposition members of parliament followed the head of state too far away from their own constituencies to go and upload the opening of the mine there. And we see the Kasama Central Member of Parliament, who also happens to be the daughter of opposition member Geoffrey Waliamwamba, there even praising President Hakainde Hichilema for that milestone that he has achieved. Now, while that was happening, a group of UPND councillors from one of the districts in the same province, that's not Northwestern Province, calling on the president to say they need him to go and attend to issues that the people are complaining about. And they have categorically stated that they are not going to fold their hands while promises that were made to their people, that is in Kasempa actually, promises that were made to their people in Kasempa are not being fulfilled. So we have two contrasting issues here. Members of parliament traveling way from home to go and upload one particular developmental agenda there, while some civic leaders, elected leaders who happen to be from the ruling party, complaining that some promises that were made to their people are not being fulfilled. Is this good? Is this what democracy entails?
They are at liberty and they are free to complain to the head of state of non-performances of their duties, if at all the government is not working. But on the other hand, I would simply say we have protocols in our government or within their party structure. They have procedures. So I don't see any reason why they failed to engage their leadership within their structure to air their views, unlike going public on the media like that. So there will be probably some committee that will be instituted to hear their grievances. Yes, they are at liberty as Zambians to air their grievances. It's not because they are they should be favored just because the government in power belongs to their party. No. The government is treating each and every Zambian equal. and they have to be given same treatment. No one is going to get a special treatment. Nobody should be getting special treatment just because you belong to the ruling party. No. But the cry is real. The development promises that the government made are real. But this is the tendency that we have. We are almost like used to this kind of narrative, because we expect that when the government of the day, when they belongs to a particular party, that party's situations or challenges need to be fixed first, and those that were against should be the last to be helped. But we, the people from Northwestern and Western Province, are the victims of the same problem of segregating. So I don't understand, why should we also want to do the same thing? It means the cycle will never end. It will keep on going. That you only want to favor those that are in power and do not take development to those that are not in power, to those that are in opposition. I find it to be I know it's unfair for you, for us Zambians, especially us who are used to the previous regime, the way they have been running the governments, where wako ni wako was applicable, tantameni, to those people that have been supporting, kissing your boots. Those are the ones that should be treated. But this current government, I think somehow they are trying to do away with that type of leadership. They want to treat everyone equal. Everyone equal. Whether you are opposition or whether you are for the party, you will receive the same treatment. There's no segregation. We have seen the way even the employment is being utilized or used of the teachers, the soldiers, the army, all these civil servants that have been employed, especially the youths. Those days it was where it was looking at your name, where you are coming from, who is recommending you. Some of the people were told to pay money for them to appear or for their names to be on to be shortlisted. So you find that there was a lot of illegal and unfair way of doing things. But today you see the interchanging of names. You find a teacher from a poor family, the person that is not even affiliated to any political whatever party, find his name or her name onto the selected people. Then who do you give credit to? These are things that we should appreciate, because these are Zambians. There's no more Zambia, because the PF government came up with a narrative that only those that belong to them, only those that supported them are the ones that should be favored, or that development should be taken to them. And those that did not support them, they have to wait until such a day when they have woken up from their slumber, or they have just decided, let's try to give them at least something, and that's when they will do that. But we should have a law like what we are seeing today when it comes to CDF distribution, that CDF is a uniform. Whether you have a big constituency or you have a small constituency, you receive the same amount of the money. To me, that is leadership, and that is how it ought to be taken. That is how they can't, but it's too new. We are not used to that. And that's why you find even UPND people, they're still complaining because they are not used to that, because they're expecting favors, they're expecting employment, they're expecting to be in decision making because they were in the forefront to fight the battle to bring proper democracy. But they expect to be favored by given awards, employment, contracts, then it will mean that we are going back to the same old thing, that the cycle will not end, will keep on revolving round and round. But this government, in my opinion, they are trying to do the different way. And we should just understand, I know it's difficult, it's painful to embrace change, to accept change, but it is what it is. We have a new sheriff in town, and we need to understand the way he wants to deal with his, the way he wants to run the government, and we have to support him. Don't bring him down just because he has not come to fulfill your promises that he had promised you. Remind him he's a human being too. He's covering 20 plus million population, people in the country. And you think you of all people should be treated special? No. Everyone should be treated equal in this country called Zambia. Development does not just happen within a blink of an eye. It takes time. The dividends are yet to be felt, Vane. Not everyone will receive development at the same time. But this government is trying to bring development in rural areas with the increase of the CDF. I believe you guys, you're going to have no problems to cry about. Utilize this. Let us use this opportunity that we have, because we will never have this president in our whole lifetime that will bring such kind of a narrative in our nation. This is the first time. So let us utilize this. Let us use this opportunity. The money, instead of all this money, imagine how much money that the country has that is coming to the people in rural areas. Imagine this money that was there before. If we had been given this money 10 years ago, were we still going to complain about rural areas, starvation, and all these non-developmental issues in rural areas? I don't think so. But all this money was ending up in people's pockets, politicians. Today, you see what that money, that the same CDF that HH is giving you, the Zambian people, with the Lungus, it was ending up in their pockets. With the Chilubas in MMD, the money ended up in their pockets too. Hence the slush funds. In the Lungus, it's Kasakakandram. Benewa Kasakakandram. That was your money, Zambians, your own money. But this money was given to a politician. And look at what these politicians have done. They bought my helicopters. They bought my luxury jets. They were giving gifts. Not you. The party that stands for the poor. The party that was born out of the poor. It's the party that goes and buys expensive cars, expensive properties, dishing out, giving properties to mansions costing millions of kwacha. Yet the majority of their supporters are still wallowing in abject poverty. And when they cry, they just dish out to my 20 kwacha, giving them to my 100 kwacha to shut them up. But look at them. All of them, though those that were in PF, especially those in the MCCs or the ones that were in government, the ministers, and look at their wealth. Look at their properties that they acquired. Look at the things that they have acquired within a shortest period of time. And when today HH comes and say, I am not going to give the money to the MPs, to the members of parliament, to the parties, I'm going to bring this money, my 30 million kwacha, in my constituencies, and you want to point a finger at him and say, you have failed. Zambians, you need to wake up. Zambians, you need to open your eyes and say, who is a real deal here? Our Benedict Changwalungu, they tried their best, but they failed us. We are in this situation today because of them. Let me end here. Rollins, over to you. Rollins, are you there? I can see you are here. Yes, please. I'm listening. Anyway, it seems the host has difficulties with his gadgets. I'm just asking him to try to come back, to log out and come back again. I'll be here waiting for you until you get your gadgets ready. I know there's a problem with the network and your load shedding, but that shouldn't, that can be fixed as quickly as possible. But maybe from the things that has happened, I would just maybe, I don't know if you want us to proceed, but with this network problem, I would suggest that we can conclude and round up. But I would simply say, for me to conclude the whole program, in the absence of the host, I would simply say that we have heard, we have seen what has happened in Zambia, and there is a court proceedings that we don't want to comment about that is taking place in the constitution, talking about the eligibility of Edgar Changwalungu. I would simply say, Edgar, you don't need to wait for the court to make pronouncements. But I think you know yourself what you want. We have tried and tested you, and big man, it's time. It's time. Tarsila, your daughter got a babies or twins, if I'm not mistaken? It's time for you to be a grandpa. Sit on the farm, enjoy the company of your grandkids, and support your daughter in her political journey. If you want to come back into power, I would suggest that you come through your daughter. Tarsila, she's a lovable person. People love her because of her humility. Despite you having gifted her with all those whatever, but that's what a father will do. A father will always protect his kids. A father will always gift his family. A father will always pay the bills. We know the immunity is helping you. The immunity is not going, they're not going to touch you this time around because you still have the immunity. But what I would simply say to you, Mr. President, Mr. Former President, is please, if there's a way, if you want your legacy to be kept, I'm not trying to say you should avoid politics, but be moderate. Be moderate and be real, oh President, be real. This issue of you negating, insulting, inciting the head of state with all kind of allegation and violence and other things is what is going to really put your legacy in 6 feet in the ground. So you need to simply avoid this. My plea and my prayer to you, Mr. Head of State, Mr. Lungu, is that find a spokesperson. Employ a spokesperson for you alone, not as a party, no, as your individual spokesperson, as a former head of state, just like Emmanuel Mwamba, the way he used to be a spokesperson of Frederick Chiluba. There's nothing wrong for you to even use him, Emmanuel Mwamba, as your spokesperson. Let him speak for you, through you. And get advice from whenever you move, whenever you want to move, engage the government. Engage the government of the day. Stop this drama. Stop this issue of you just waking up in the morning and move at your will, at your own will, without security details. Because you know what you can attract, you know what you can do. Just walk to Soweto Market there. See what will happen without any security details. See how many people will come to you and wanting to talk to you or touch you or even harm you. So the police are not out of order. The police are within their rights to tell you to engage them before you make any movements, to avoid the High Court, the Supreme Court scenario. You need to engage senior officials, because once the senior officials are involved, they are aware, they will communicate to their junior officers, and everything will go smoothly. Engage the police officers. Mr. Lungu, engage senior police officers, not calling you a boss. Even your language, your demeanor goes to show that you don't deserve the respect you ought to be given as the former head of state. Because you have reduced yourself to a kada. You have reduced yourself to a Mushanga Sela type of, a Kabova type of language. So I'm appealing to you, Mr. Edgar Changwa Lungu, Dr. Edgar Changwa Lungu, your former head of state, Mr. President, please be diplomatic in your movements. Engage the government to help you spread your whatever political ambitions that you still think you have. Go engage the government diplomatically so that we avoid this drama that you keep on throwing onto Zambian people. Whatever narrative you're after, it won't work. It won't work. Because we know the same thing happened during your reign of power, where you were stopping HH from entering Chipata. You were stopping HH from, actually you were very brutal. Your officers were brutal because HH was never, at that time, was never a former head of state. But with you, it's different. That's why you need to have a dialogue with the government. Sit together with the government. Have a dialogue. Any movement, dialogue first, because the government needs to know. You are the former head of state. The government needs to know how you wish to move, because they will be held accountable if anything happens to you. So this is my prayer and this is my request from Ubuntu as a patriotic Zambian, as a patriotic citizen of my country. We don't hate you, Walungu. We didn't like what you did, but we don't hate you. You are our fellow brother, our Zambian man that we need to love and embrace and protect. Any Zambian out there that will be involved in other activities where that needs our attention to go and protect will come full force to protect and prevent a loss of life or prevent injuries from happening. This is what I can say for now. But Walungu, please just behave like a normal adult, a normal elderly man, statesman, former head of state. We still hold respect for you. You were at one point our boss. So we still respect you, whether you like it or not, whether we loved you or not, you still are a former head of state. So stay in your lane. Stay home. Don't involve your wife in your political issues. Don't involve your families. Just stay home. Fix your problems. Work on your cases with defense and go to court. Simple as that. Talk with HH. Talk Nava HH. You guys can talk. We know you talk. Talk with HH. This animosity should stop. This animosity should stop. If you want us Zambians to respect you, you should lead by example. You are the eldest one. Lead by example. Wo HH. Wo HH. Nimina wo Lungu. Lead by example. Lungu, especially wo Lungu, because you have been the former head of state before and you are the eldest, I believe, because I believe HH is younger than you. So you should lead by example, by exhibiting umuchinshi, respect the current president, and the current president also respect you. He hasn't touched you yet for the things that you've done, or he alleged you've done. So we know you are hurting because your family is before the courts, they are losing properties, but that's the way it is. There's a probable cause. There's a reason why you are the head of state. So you have to know that. So let the law and the court do its job, but don't take it to the public. So anyway, let me end here. It's been almost, we wanted to go all the way to 1 hour, 30 minutes, but I think because of internet problem, we're gonna just end this now because the interviewer has been kicked out. So I want to end this program as well, so that if at all I'm allowed by the technicians, because I can't be alone here to talk about the same thing over and over. I may say things that I'll regret tomorrow. So epashiri pakuleka mwibakala chalo isentu ikatane chapamo. Let's sort out the problem ya load shedding tikapwalisa. Let us finish up all these problems that are challenged, that we are facing as a country. Ubunga, the price of Ubunga, Bukawela, we know the mines are being opened. A lot of things are happening. So let us concentrate on those lines. And let's continue praying for our country, because if HH fails, it's the whole Zambians have failed. If Lungu failed, it is us who are suffering today, who are failing as well, who failed. So be patriotic, be like those MPs supporting the current government, and see the way forward. And when times for politics comes, let's politic. let's politicize each other. Otherwise, I love you, my fellow Zambians, and please let's not divide just because of political differences. Yes, we can argue, we can fight, but we still love each other. We are one Zambia, remember, one nation. Take care, and God bless Zambia, and God bless you, my fellow Zambians, all of you. May God bless you. Thank you so much. Take it up.